Good morning, everybody. It's your boy Rahkii with Cajun Chronic, and I'm here with
Colton from Puff and Prosper.
So there's a big issue in Texas right now with the hemp industry, and we want to basically just update you guys on that. All right, so Colton, what's going on right now?
Man, we're seeing a lot of hype right now. A lot of people are feeding into these public officials, putting out statements of what they plan to do, and a lot of pre-filed bills, or as we get closer to the session, filed bills that are actually going to go up in front of committees to be talked about.
Right.
So at this point right now, there's not a lot of permanent in-stone direction on what lawmakers are going to do. It's only what they've said they intend to do, which usually, as we know from government, is just fear-mongering and politicizing certain issues when it comes up to the legislature or their re-election.
And it's something that I myself want to, be educated on because I grow CBD, and I'm not into the THCA, Delta 9, Delta 8. I'm not into that, but it's something that I have to worry about myself, and that's going to knock out a lot of businesses, not just the growing cultivation aspect, but also the dispensaries as well.
Yeah, and I mean, like from grower to grower, right? That's what we like to do here. I'm also part of a cultivation team here in Texas, similar to Rahkii here with Cajun Chronic and everything. But it's going to wipe out more than just the THCA brands or the THCA flower or THC-derived products. It's going to wipe out a lot more than that. So we're going to have a lot more stricter thresholds for THC. We're going to have a lot more rigorous processing fees and regulation. We're also going to see licensing, I'm sure, become more expensive.
Right.
And probably the TDA move into more of a hands-on approach where right now it's not really that way.
Right.
And so that's something that I think we're all on the same page for, though, because at the end of the day, we all want a level playing field. You see behind us is a nice facility. It's not a grow house or anything like that from the black market.
Right.
The license is on the wall behind you. Everything here will be tested for more than just cannabinoids, right? We want to test for microbials. We want to test for heavy metals. Make sure we're not having anything in our water, putting anything in the plants that you don't want, right? And we want that. We want regulation. We want steps to be taken to where the consumer and us both feel like we're providing a quality product, no different than any other market.
Right.
Now, my thing is that when people are making laws, they're making laws about things that they don't completely understand, right?
Bro.
And I refuse to believe that the government could not pay a chemist with enough education and knowledge to come in and explain to lawmakers what everything means, including the word isomers, acids, and salts of acids that they put specifically in the law, followed by growing or not growing. And so I'm not disagreeing with the government that there is a problem and that people are pushing the laws and what is there legally and pushing the boundaries of laws and regulation.
Right.
However, we are not attorneys. We did not write the law. We are only people who paid our fees, got our licenses, and got the green light from the state and our bank and other professional entities out there operating with us. We're not operating alone.
Right.
And it gave us the inclination that we were operating above board and within our means.
Right.
And so without us being an absolute attorney or a part of the legislature or the Texas Department of Agriculture, we are only here to interpret and operate within our means and the means of the law.
Right.
And so with bans being on the forefront of a lot of what politicians are going for, I think that's, again, the wrong thought process because we all want the money from cannabis. Let's not, beat around the bush here, right? Definitely. So no matter how big your heart is and no matter how much you want to help people or yourself by purveying this plant and pushing this plant forward, this is a business. If we're not in this for the money or if it doesn't make money, we can't continue. Yeah. And so we don't want to have an outright ban that affects the operators in Texas that are holding themselves and each other to a certain standard and that are playing by the book and playing by the laws that we are given. I think that there's a misconception that it's all cartel, it's all Wild West, we're all criminals and bad people. And really that's just not the case, right? We just want to have a Texas-ran business and provide Texas citizens and Texans with quality product.
And man, I couldn't have said that, any better than what you just said. I agree 100%. We have this bad look on us, but at the same time, it's like we want to do this legally. You know what I'm saying? We want to be able to wake up and earn honest money, and that's why we do have these licenses, and we're able to do hemp and CBD and all those things here. Now, my take on that is, I'm all for the legit side of it. I want to push for that. Do I think you should ban some things? On the synthetic side, I do think that. I won't disagree with that, but I also feel like some of the things that are on shelves and, you know, are being passed around are some products that have been tested and have been, you know, clinically proven to help people. So, you know, why take it back? You know, now, also, I do see that, you know, there was a loophole in the bill. People are taking advantage of it. I didn't get into this business to take advantage of loopholes and, you know, do sketchy shit through it. No, I didn't get in this business for that, you know. So I don't agree with that. But there's also a perspective of, I feel like they're trying to ban certain shit to make it easier for the medical cannabis to take over and be more corporate. Now, if you look at Louisiana, you know, Cajun Chronic is a Louisiana brand.
Yep.
We're not out there. We don't grow out there. We don't sell out there, nothing like that. But the reason is because only, you know, 2 universities, and I don't want to speak on that situation too much, but only two universities are able to grow and cultivate that. So everything you get in Louisiana cultivated are partnered through them or it comes from them. And it's monopoly, you know, and that's kind of what I see going on, you know, if medical take over here in Texas, which, you know, it's legal at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? So I love it. And this will help a lot of people. But what about the small time growers, the small time, you know, dispensaries who push, you know, health and wellness and, you know, want to make money for this, you know? So that's my take on that. And I just feel like, you know, I don't want this to be monopolized in Texas, you know?
Yeah, I don't think so either. And also, you know, the things that I think that come with the monopolization, when you have big MSOs or you know, medical cannabis, even pharmaceutical companies coming in here to do these things, they have the money to pay the politicians or donate to their funds or their PACs and their, you know, political action committees and stuff like that. So
definitely.
That greases the wheels of politicians. So people like Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, right, will put out statements saying he wants to ban this, he wants to take away the hemp program, or he wants to make sure that people like True Leave or others in the industry out there are coming into Texas and getting their hands in our market.
Right.
And to me, that's the most anti-Texas, anti-capitalism thing.
Yeah.
And it's coming from the number 2 in charge of our state.
Right.
And that's very terrifying, right? Because at the end of the day, he's looking for his next 4 years in an office. He's looking for, you know, his claim to fame maybe before he leaves office.
Right.
And he's going to change the fabric of Texas and make it kind of go, I think, in the wrong direction and lose money. Give money to other states, give money to the black market, give money to the cartels, when we've come so far from that.
Right.
And we don't even want our products in gas stations or in a retailer that's not going to age gate properly.
Most definitely,
and all of that. You know, we don't want that.
We don't want to sell to kids under 18, under 21.
Not,
like,
bro.
we don't want to be a part of stuff like that, bro. So, I mean, and this isn't us bashing Dan Patrick. We're really bashing, like, just the proposal. Like, it shouldn't be done. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's the communication. That's what I think it is.
That's the main thing.
I think it's the communication and the money thing. Now, if we were rolling in the money and we were all driving Ferraris because, you know, we're banking because we do cannabis, hemp, marijuana, whatever, right? The way that people think.
Right.
I would have no problem going down there and paying a lobbyist, paying a politician, donating, right? But because our industry has always been crippled, we've never gotten to that, to be able to get to that point. And if you look at larger companies that are even based in Texas, they're still nationwide in order to do what they're doing and pay the lobbyists and pay for the actions that they're paying for at Capitol Hill.
Right.
And so now they're even turning around asking us for assistance. Like, please, guys, we've footed the bill for so long. Can other people participate? And we would love to. However, this is we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow kind of situation, right? And the communication channels are not open wide enough for not only politicians to see the future money, but understand that they need to choose Texans and the people who have this and the right heart in this game over the people who are just coming to write the check and take money.
Just take away from Texas.
Take away from Texas. That's the biggest misconception. And to your point, we don't want kids that are underage getting this. But that doesn't fall on us. Do you go and sue Anheuser-Busch and get anywhere with it when your child goes out at 14 and gets a pack of beer from the local gas station or liquor store, right? No, you good luck. You know what I mean? And that happens. And that's a legal substance that's on every corner in America. And so cannabis kind of gets the short end of the stick, the shit end of the stick, honestly, and really for no reason other than miscommunication.
That's the main thing. So let me go ahead and read his statement. Commissioner Sid Miller, just down the street from Austin headquarters of the Texas Department of Agriculture, is a trailer selling consumable cannabis products. So think about that. It's a trailer selling cannabis.
A trailer.
Right. The sole purpose of these products is to inebriate. When did Texas legislature debate recreational marijuana and ultimately vote to legalize cannabis? Question mark. The answer is they didn't. Thanks to loose legal language and generous interpretations of the law, an unregulated market of recreational marijuana has sprung up across Texas, and that's the loophole we were talking about earlier.
Right.
You know, kind of just going within
Right.
what they said in the Farm Bill and kind of making it their own thing.
To be honest, like with Sid Miller putting out the statement, I know what he's doing, right? It's politics.
Right.
You're not going to come out openly against the lieutenant governor of your state, the person that you work for/with in politics and in government. I mean, that's difficult, right? However, Sid was the one that put this program together in the first place. Mm-hmm. Sid has his own grow going on across Texas. You can look that up. Sid wants what's best for big agriculture, farmers, and so do we. We're not here to like take that away from farmers. In fact, I've seen a lot of people like Caprock Family Farms do very well bringing their agricultural mindset and experience into hemp.
Right.
And they've done it extremely well. So again, we can't take an opportunity or an industry off the table for Texas farmers and Texas agriculture when we can have something truly large here in one of the world's largest economies.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the things that he said, and I actually made a video about this recently too, but a lot of the things that they're just repeating over and over to us as their talking points are things that we already agree on. Mm-hmm. Nobody's actively fighting to let 14-year-olds buy smokable goods, okay? Nobody's actively fighting for that. What we're fighting against is just laws being made and permanent decisions being made that are not completely educated. Right? And that's where I talk about the communication.
So the statement is pretty, it's an honest statement.
It's honest.
It's honest.
I didn't disagree with a single thing in that statement.
Yeah. Well, reading it, I'm not going to lie, reading that first was kind of a shock because, I mean, he kind of just threw on the table what everybody sees, you know?
Yeah.
It's happening.
The dirty side.
Right.
Yeah, and that trailer is not a brick and mortar retail. They may or may not be licensed. Right. We don't know. They're mobile, so
they bear and they can leave.
They can leave, you know, and I don't think that's legitimate because how are you going to keep a pulse on a retailer that can move around the city and state at a moment's notice?
Right. Yeah.
You know, I think there's a lot of problems with that, and that's what we're seeing. You know, the trailers on 6th Street that sell illicit cannabis.
Right.
They do need to be regulated. They do need to go because that is just as bad on us as bad legislation, as a cartel. Right. And shout out to the people hustling in the trailer. You know, you got to do what you got to do. And when you see a loophole and you see an opportunity, whatever. Right. I can't knock you for that. But these are things that I think collectively as a whole, a lot of growers in Texas, I can name them all, but there's a decently long list. None of us have trailers.
No.
None of us are pushing to kids or drunk, inebriated college students or anything on 6th Street in the middle of the night, pushing God knows what kind of cannabinoids and where they're coming from.
No telling where
it's just not the actual inside of the industry, right? That's just the extreme case. And again, I didn't disagree with anything that he said. I love Sid Miller. Sid Miller has done a lot of great things for Texas. Will continue to do so. I can guarantee it. Mm-hmm. Has been very open and lenient on our hemp program, and I appreciate him for that because without that, we could not have made it even to this day to grow facilities just even like this.
Right.
And so the thing that did stick out to me with that statement, though, is that there is a blatant lack of communication and regulation, and this is like that same talking point that keeps coming up because what they're talking about is an easy fix. They're just refusing to take action on the easy route because people are looking for money and donations, and that's what politics is about.
Right.
And so I think as Texans, it's our job now, if there's more things that are concerning in our life, the fabric of Texas, the border, society, abortion, whatever main talking point and issue you want to take and cling on to, do those rank over hemp or cannabis to you, to most people?
Yeah.
Probably, right? And so even if, let's say, in a hypothetical world, that THCA has been legalized by the 2018 Farm Bill and that everybody pushing the THCA cannabinoid or flower is in the right within the legal limits, right? Like, the problem still exists that there are competitors for that. There are still bad actors out there that are going to try to undercut you, spray terps, sell some other cannabinoid as one that's legal or beneficial, and it's not that, because there's a lack of communication and regulation. And I'm hoping that from these statements that people like Sid Miller will start to work with the real cultivators, work with the real growers, the real farmers, to figure out what we can do to keep this moving forward and on the shelves and keep money in farmers' pockets in Texas, rather than sending it over the border to other states, to Mexico and beyond. Because people that are going to smoke are going to smoke. People that want to get a product are going to get a product.
Right.
And I think most Texans would choose to come buy from a reputable individual that they trust, like me and you, than to meet a drug dealer in an unknown location and risk going to jail over just getting an herb that they're going to use for their health or for their recreation and enjoyment.
Right.
Meanwhile, drunk drivers take lives every single minute, even while we've been sitting here.
Right.
And those things get overlooked.
Right.
Again, communication. We'll show you the route to having a solid rec and medical cannabis industry in Texas, a large economy. And if you do it wrong, as we've seen in these other markets, it can get it away from you very, very fast. And nobody wants that. Again, nobody wants that. We did not start this to be criminals. We didn't start this to struggle. We started this to do something that we love, help people, and make money doing it, man.
Right.
And that's what America and capitalism, and especially Texas, is all about, And another thing about the communication, I think that's confusing. And if you're watching this, this is hopefully going to be, not even hopefully, this is definitely going to be the first of many pieces that you see, especially with myself being across the table from another grower or another industry operator in Texas. But you got people out there that still want the worst for us.
Right.
And whether they're in the industry or not, one way or another, they think they know more, they think they do more, they think they have more of a rap sheet or a resume than us, and they still want to see us fail.
Right.
And it's sad, because all of the years that those people put to fighting for the plan and getting around laws, maybe even serving prison time or paying exorbitant fees, if you attack us still, you did that for nothing. Right? It's still 2 steps backward. And even just recently in my comments, I had someone try to educate me, and they failed to.
Right.
On a situation. And it's sad, because basically they left it with this. After sending me a ton of information that I already knew from public resources of government, I was asking very simple, plain stupid questions. But the last thing that this person said in my comments, who owns a business in this industry, I will let you know.
Shit.
This is how shitty and deep this goes, because people are just shit rats nibbling on shit cheese. This makes all flour hot. It's very cut and dry, meaning the law, pun intended. It's really crazy things have gone on this long, like without everyone going to jail for drug trafficking and fraud, honestly. So,
damn.
Here's what's crazy about the situation.
That's a bold statement.
That is a very bold statement for many reasons. One, this person is operating in the industry trying to gloat that they never have ever broken the barrier of being hot in any of their products.
Yeah.
So when they're making chocolates or whatever mundane edible that they're probably making, you mean you've never double dosed on accident? You've never tested hot on accident? You've never gotten hot oil from a distributor or from a wholesaler that you didn't control? Right. You've never had any accidents happen in your kitchen ever?
That don't sound right. Yeah,
doesn't even sound
That's
right.
the point of getting shit tested and just getting everything regulated.
That's the point of getting shit tested.
That's the point of regulation, bro. Like,
that's the point of regulation.
Like, so that's the
But the
statement.
fact that people will throw this out there saying, I'm surprised that everyone has not already gone to jail for drug trafficking and fraud. Well, quite honestly, me too.
Right.
That must mean that there is some merit to the laws and regulations that we currently have that we are all operating under.
Right.
And I'm honestly surprised that people like you haven't flipped the red switch, pushed the red button, and started a mutually assured destruction situation here. Right. Because I've always said, I've never been afraid of the government in Texas because I've read the laws and I've gotten my license and I've covered my ass. I've never been afraid of the police department because of the first reason I just gave.
Right.
We've had police department tour our facilities.
Yeah.
The only thing that I'm worried about in this fucking industry is a jackass who's not where I am, who's behind, ruining it for the rest of us from statements just like this, wishing that people were to go to jail and get retribution for what they're doing legally in this state. And again, reading the law and interpreting it for themselves. That's what everyone is designed to do. That's what the law is designed to do. That's why it's black and white. And so when you talk about testing methods and you talk about decarboxylation, post-decarboxylation, that's only one piece. And there's plenty of attorneys out there that I could name, one of which is actually on this cover of this magazine right here, that will tell you that is always up for interpretation. The law is always up for interpretation. So when you have THCA flower, it hasn't converted into Delta 9. Delta 9 is the THC that they list explicitly in all of the laws, from the Farm Bill down to House Bill 1325. Now, whether it has decarb or not attached to it, it also says similarly reliable methods of testing. So if a crime lab takes my samples and they do whatever test they seem necessary, they could light it up in a joint, burn it for half a minute, and test that joint for all I care. They're going to show a post-decarboxylation test because that's what they so choose to do. And that's standard. It's very expensive, but that's standard. There are also DEA-approved and TDA-approved laboratories in the United States that will provide you with similarly reliable testing methods to prove that this plant that I have here can be tested in other similarly reliable ways in order to show specific numbers that make it legal. Or hemp. Back in Prohibition, alcohol was illegal, but if I farmed and harvested a whole field of hops and barley, is that illegal? Until I made beer out of it? Right. And that's the exact same premise here is what we're saying. You know, the way you market something and the piece of it. So we provide a raw material, an agricultural, a harvested material, right? What you do with it is your business. You can put that in tea. Yeah,
because we don't know if you're going to smoke it or make edibles or make oils, you know. Look at it, eat it. Shit, you never know.
We don't know what you're going to do, and we're not telling you what to do. So if you go as a consumer and put fire to that flower, it can convert, and you have basically just manufactured. But that's the way the law is written, and so we don't blatantly put smoking. We don't encourage smoking. We don't even talk about that. A lot of our marketing, you won't even see people smoking because that's not really why we're here. And so a lot of these things are interesting. It seems that not only is the government against us, but even some of our own peers in the industry are against us as well. And
crazy times, man.
People forget it starts with the growers. It starts with the plant. And if you have shitty growers, you have a shitty market. Doesn't matter if you're in edibles, topicals, CBD only, whatever.
Dog treats, there's all type of shit.
Dog treats, lotion. If you have shitty growers, you'll have shitty oil, which means you'll have shitty product. So the fact that people are going after this industry like this to ban THC, to ban THCA, to put growers out on the street is sad because we won't get it back once we let that go. So
I think first they go turn the growers against each other, then the dispensaries, and then now it's all fucking mayhem, you know. It's a community here in Austin,
It's a community, and over the course of this next year, I look for it to be even stronger, 100%, even stronger because we're all not alone. Like if you're across the state, reach out to us. You're not alone, man. We're not here to shark you. We're not here to take your genetics. We're not here to take your IP. We're all here to create a community that thrives for the next 10 to 20 to 30, maybe even 50 years if we're lucky.
Hopefully.
So that we can all grow this plant, use this plant, and create a community of people who do the same in order to advance this plant to the next level. Without that, we're not going to be able to do it, bro. We're not going to be able to do it.
I can't agree more. And I mean, with that being said, I think we pretty much touched up on, you know, what we think about just this proposal. And, you know, I mean, we could sit here and talk to y'all for hours, you know. But, yeah, man, you know, we want to keep this shit pushing, man. We agree with what's going on and what Sid Miller thinks. And, you know, but it's just certain ways to go about this shit. We need more communication. We need more health within the community, more education within the community. Make sure y'all go ahead, like, subscribe, you know, drop a comment on this video. Make sure y'all follow Colton, and he's going to drop his Instagram here below.
Definitely.
Thank y'all. Can't say no more.